How's it going, everybody? Here we are once again with another kindness news update, where every week we're striving to bring you stories of random kindness and love from across the globe. We have another great set of stories for you this week, and I think it's time we start talking about them. So, as always, I'm Jared Hoyer, and this is your Feel Good News. Now, in our last video, we had a story about two children whose father dropped them from the second story of a burning building in order to save them, and they were caught below by construction workers. Well, this week we have another story about a child falling from a building, but this story comes from China, where a 3-year-old boy fell from the 6th story of an apartment building, but was thankfully saved by the crowd below, who caught him with a blanket. Now, witnesses say that they saw this boy trapped out on a balcony and trying to climb his way back up, but he slipped and was hanging by just the edge. So one witness saw this, and her immediate reaction was to go and catch him with her hands, like we saw in the video from last week. However, since we're talking about 6 stories versus 2 stories here, she knew that this wasn't going to work. Well, she and some other people who were witnessing this sprang into action and found a blanket that one of them had and stood right underneath the boy with the blanket stretched outward in the hopes that this would save him, and thankfully it did. Now, what I really love about this story, besides the fact that the boy landed safely, is that the group of people holding the blanket did not just consist of neighbors at the apartment. It reportedly also consisted of security guards and sanitation workers. So there were definitely people in this circle who didn't know each other and had never spoken a word to each other prior to this event. Yet in an instant, they all came together to help save this boy's life. Now, the boy got away uninjured, but he was still taken to the hospital by a neighbor just to be safe. Now, I really love this second story because it's a perfect example of how a small idea can become a giant act of kindness just like that. So the story begins in Alma, Arkansas, where a mother and daughter were shopping at a closing Payless shoe store. Now, the daughter asked her mother if they could buy an extra Avengers-themed pair of shoes for her friend who had shoes that were too small for her. So at this point in the story, I already know that this little girl is going to go places in life because we know right away that she's extremely generous and she has excellent taste in footwear. So check those off the list. Now, the mother, of course, had no problem buying an extra pair of shoes for her daughter's friend. And as she was doing this, she started to wonder, how much would it cost to buy all the shoes left in this closing shoe store? So as they were checking out, the mother jokingly, half-jokingly I should say, talked about this with the cashier. Now, the cashier could see that she was somewhat serious, so she took her number down, and later the district manager of the store called this mother and told her what price he could give her if she really wanted to buy all the shoes left in the store. The next thing you know, this woman had almost 1,500 boxes of shoes purchased from this store. Now, this mother bought these shoes back in May, and since then, she's been giving them away to needy kids in their community. And when asked about her kids, she said that if you asked her kids what they wanted to be when they grow up, they would reply, "I want to be kind." And her mom says, in response to that, she doesn't care what they do as long as they're kind and nice to others, because if their heart's in the right place, then they'll do amazing things, whatever path they choose. Now, this was an amazing article, and I loved reading about it. But I have to take a moment and just say, I think it's a little unfair. I mean, this woman buys 1,500 pairs of shoes and is claimed as generous and a hero and gets an article written about her. When I buy 1,500 pairs of shoes, my mom says I'm spending too much money. Yeah, what's that about? Our third and final story comes to us from New York and shows us that sometimes all you need to do to make a difference is volunteer. So this story is about a woman named Daphne who was recently driving home on the Long Island Expressway when she was stopped because part of the expressway was flooded due to a recent storm. And her and some fellow drivers had no way to get through, so they were all parking their cars and standing there feeling helpless. Now, Daphne says when she got there and got out of her car, she heard a group of guys there talking about how someone needed to try to do something to fix this, and someone should go and see how deep the water is. But none of them were actually doing that. So when she heard this, she volunteered to go investigate herself. Well, she found out that the water wasn't that deep at all, and she was able to determine that there was a storm drain that was being blocked by wood and some other items that was backing up the water and causing the flood. So as soon as she realized this, she found a nearby traffic cone and used that to clear the drain. And once that happened, the water cleared out fairly quickly. Now, the best part of this story, according to this article, isn't the fact that Daphne saved the day. It's the fact that she saved the day while wearing Crocs, which everyone found hilarious. Now, after Daphne had saved the day, she was heralded by both the Emergency Management Department of New York and a city council speaker as being a great New Yorker. But in response to this, Daphne simply stated that she was just happy to do her civic duty as a city dweller. So with that, we're almost done here, but first we need to talk about some fun and creative ideas for acts of kindness for you all to perform this coming week. And there are some interesting ones this coming week, but we're going to start with a pretty tame one on August 6th, which is National Night Out Day. Now, I know it's kind of early in the week, but so what? Go out, have a good time. Go out with your girlfriends or your buddies. You go out with family or friends or that special someone. Have a good time. Enjoy the weather. Just laugh and enjoy life. Moving on to August 8th, which is, I kid you not, National Sneak Some Zucchini Into Your Neighbor's Porch Day. I'm just going to leave that there and let you do with that what you will. But I'm going to ask that you please send me your ideas and whatever you come up with for that one, because I'm very curious. And finally, August 10th is National Lazy Day. Take a day to just do some self-care. Sit around in your underwear, do nothing but watch TV all day, read, do whatever you need to do to unwind. But just relax, get away from this world that is constantly go, 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 never, never stop, always instant gratification, always doing something, have to be busy all the time. Take some time to just take a breath, step back, and recharge. I guarantee your body will thank you for that. There you have it. That's all I have for you this week. It's been another great week. Thank you again so much for watching. Please continue to support me and like my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to, again, send me your kindness stories, send me your suggestions on how to make these videos better or some things you'd like to see in upcoming videos. I'd love the suggestions. I'm still very early on in this process, and I'd like to improve these videos as I go along. So until next week, thank you again so much for watching. I look forward to giving you another week's worth of stories next week. Until then, I'm Jared Hoyer, reminding you to pay it forward.